Got a Pee-wee candle. Oh, there's a Pee-wee Herman stuffed toy as well. And they got the bow tie on the stone as well. I like that. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am here at Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles, California. And I was here 2 years ago, but I wanted to come back here because I wanted to visit somebody who was not here, placed here when I was here last. I am talking about a man named Paul Reubens. Most of you guys know him as Pee-wee Herman. So Paul was an actor, a comedian, a game show host, writer, and producer. But he was best known for his iconic character, Pee-wee Herman, beloved by both children and adults. Began his career in the 1970s with the Groundlings comedy troupe in Los Angeles, sharpening his improvisational skills. Created the Pee-wee Herman Show in 1982, which became a cult hit stage production. Starred as Pee-wee in Pee-wee's Playhouse, 1986 to 1990, a critically acclaimed Saturday morning series that won multiple Emmy Awards. He was featured in films as well. Pee-wee's Big Adventure, 1985, directed by Tim Burton. This film was a cult classic that launched Burton's film career. Big Top Pee-wee, 1988. Pee-wee's Big Holiday, 2016. Appeared in various TV and film projects. Batman Returns as Penguin's father, Mystery Men, Blow, Reno 911, The Blacklist, and Accidental Love. He was the voice of Pavel in Disney XD's Tron Uprising. Also voiced characters in Family Guy, Robot Chicken, and other animated shows. Host of Saturday Night Live as Pee-wee Herman in 1985. Known for his quirky sense of humor, childlike persona, and blending of surreal comedy with nostalgic Americana. He also had a lifelong passion for collecting vintage toys, memorabilia, and pop culture items. Unfortunately, he privately battled cancer for 6 years before his passing in 2023. And he kept that, from what I understand, really close to the vest. He wasn't telling anybody about his illness. A lot of his colleagues didn't even know how sick he really was, how bad he really was. The guy kept, one hell of a poker face, when it came to that. A lot of people didn't even know how bad it was. Early in life was in a relationship with a man named Guy from Echo Park, whose speech quirks inspired Pee-wee's most famous catchphrases. Remembered not only as Pee-wee Herman, but as a creative force who influenced comedy, children's programming, and pop culture for decades. So that was a little bit about Paul Reubens, Pee-wee Herman. I remember also, it might have been, this was, of course, I was a kid. I think he was in one of Cheech and Chong's movies as well as some other character. I don't remember it wasn't a main character, but I remember seeing him, I think, in a Cheech and Chong movie when I was a kid as well. One of the movies they made. But like I said, it wasn't as Pee-wee Herman, it was as some other character, I do believe. I remember seeing the documentary on Paul Reubens. And it didn't seem like he was telling anybody about his sickness. And like I said, like people closest to him, a lot of them didn't even know how bad it was, and that's really sad, And then he had in his house too about the collecting. Yeah, he had a room just full of boxes of just vintage toys, magazines. Almost, it was almost like he collected anything and everything, And the documentary was very cool. He had, when they were asking the questions, and it seemed like he was, kind of trying to be funny and kind of trying to be himself, I think some of the stuff kind of bothered him a bit when they were asking him certain questions. That's the vibe I got on the documentary about him. But yeah. No, I'm going to go over to his grave. He's actually right across from Burt Reynolds. When you see Burt Reynolds' stone, he is actually a little bit further down, closer to the water than Burt Reynolds is. So we're going to go over there and we're going to check out his grave. He died in 2023, but they didn't place him until recently. So he was cremated, I do believe, because of course they took long enough placing him. And put over here not too long ago. So let's go over there and check out the grave of Pee-wee Herman. And I just remembered, Paul Reubens also voiced the character of Captain Rex on Disney's Star Tours ride at Disneyland. I always knew it sounded like him, and it was, in fact, Paul Reubens doing the voice of it when it originally opened. I think to this day they might still be using it, but it's even got a Pee-wee candle. Oh, there's a Pee-wee Herman stuffed toy as well. And they got the bow tie on the stone as well. I like that. Joke items. Joke gum and other.
I pet a squirrel girl. Come here, Amelia. Amy.
And it's not too far from Burt Reynolds. Go over this way. Yep. That was the grave of Pee-wee Herman. Lived one hell of a life, though. It was funny. It's like he appealed, like I said before, he appealed to adults and children because his comedy went both ways. The kids laughed at the goofiness, but the adults picked up on the adult humor in his act as well, the things he would say or do. That's what I felt too. It went both ways. The kids loved him, and then the adults loved him, but the adults were the ones that were picking up on the other stuff. And then he got caught up in a little scandal with the adult movie theater thing. But you know what? As years go on, people forget about that stuff. And that didn't matter. And in the end, everybody loved Pee-wee Herman, Paul Reubens. Oh, Dee Dee Ramone. Well, that one's got some tinted glass. The grass, 1920 it says. Huh. beautiful, interesting monuments here. I think the first time I saw Pee-wee Herman, I think it was the HBO special he did it was before he did Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He had the HBO special. It was basically his stage show that they did for HBO. And it was funny. And it had some adult humor in it. Even as a little kid, I still picked up, maybe I'm just weird, but as a little kid, I still picked up on a couple of the adult humor things that was in that show. But I also laughed at his goofiness. But he come out on stage and have like handfuls of like candy and start chucking them at everybody, and just all kinds of craziness, I remember. And he was entertaining, and he was funny. Cecil DeMille. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. Lots of squirrels, and they don't actually. They run for me, but they get pretty close to you. I think they're so used to people in here that they don't even they get pretty close to these little squirrels. All right, guys, I am out of here. Thank you so much for following me on this little adventure. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click that bell icon. Therefore, you can be notified of all of my future uploads. Thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you later.